Hey guys, welcome. Another day of Guild Wars 2 Master. We'll be getting in. I'm feeling pretty chill today, which is good. Oh, hold on, give me 1 second. Let me put the heat in on. Alright, sorry about that. Probably could have done that a second ago. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty chill today. It's not bad. We'll get in, we'll do some Grothmar, we'll do our strike mission. I actually already did one of the races because I was going to set up an Ellie build earlier. And then I got distracted. So I logged on to Azaric, who's an Ellie. I was going to try the Marauder build with Dagger. And so I was going to take that into PvP. But when I logged in, I saw that he was in, at the race. So I already did one of the races today. But aside from that, it's not been too bad. Welcome. Are we in sub mode? What do you mean sub mode? No. I've never in my life used sub mode. I wouldn't even know where to go to turn that on. I don't know whether that's worthwhile or anything. I guess it's just, look, we've got a bunch of enthusiastic subs here. That's probably a bad sign, right? I need a good proportion of non-subs to show that people are actually interested in looking at the fucking streams. You know. There you go, we got one. The one non-sub I see right now is Kato, who's like one of the most enthusiastic stream watchers at the moment and helpers, pretty much, right? It's just that the baby seems to be picky. Yeah, the bots are like totally busted. To be honest, I've really got to sort that shit out. Cho told me to sort that out back when Season 1 of Master was beginning. And I just haven't, so it's a bit silly. By the way, I am in a tech map at the moment that is doing awful. I'm trying to get into one of the other maps right now, but I'm in combat and they're full and it's not going very well. We just had our first bone wall. There's a ton of players here, but I don't know. I think it's going to be one of those situations where no one's on turrets, so it's not going to happen. You were sub last month, says Atori. That's very true. Yeah, I was looking at maybe so here I'll show you guys. Since this isn't working, we're not going to get tech once again. Tech failing. I'm always getting there a little bit late. So I was thinking of this, right? So this is the cheese merchant. One of the things, if I do try the monthly, one of the things I'm going to have to go up against is Staff Thief. Need an answer for that. My mindset with all of this is very, like, counter-oriented. So, like, if your side noder is going to be against Mirage, put him on a Scrapper. Easy win. Like, literally, my mindset here is you don't have to out-skill anyone. You just have to out-strategy them, out-tactics them. Because there is a lot of rock, paper, scissors and a lot of this stuff, right? So if they're against any kind of Condi, right, any Weaver variant as well at the same time, you can just put a Scrapper on that node. Now, if they're against a Warrior, they're going to get completely fucked up. Or if they're against a Hollow, they can struggle. So in that situation, then you make sure your side noder knows how to do like a Condi build, like a Mirage build or whatever. So, but there's one side node build at the moment that is just a fucking... It needs to get nerfed. It's so brain dead. It's so, like, annoying. It's the worst thing in the game. It's the epitome of bad design. It desperately needs a nerf. It's near the top of my list of something that needs a nerf. And that's Staff Thief, which just spams evades forever. Now, I know certain builds. Like, I can play a certain variety of Sage Mirage that will at least stall it. And also get it to blow all of its cooldowns as it's going. So when a +1 comes in, you do get it in time, you know? Like, because your side noder needs to... like, get as many cooldowns, as much endurance and shit as possible, so when the plus arrives, something actually happens. So, and I know a pretty good build. It will never kill it, and it will struggle, but I know a pretty good build, but there's not any that great. Anyway, so that's where I'm thinking of, what about, like, the Marauder, Shocking Aura guy, right? Because the Staff Thief dodges on you, or does anything, and he gets stunned. And then you just fuck him up, right? So you want something like that. So that's what I was looking at. But I suck at this build. Well, I don't suck at this build. This build's I had some good success with earlier. But there's a lot to learn. And I don't know whether this is actually the best way to go. I almost feel like taking like a Tempest or some shit might be better. Because you get more regular shocking auras there. Because you don't have to double attune. And you can get it at the end of an overload. And they're only going to seal into one overload. Maybe if they're on bandits. Maybe. They'll get another one, you know, with a hard CC or whatever. But I think maybe that's a better way. So anyway, I need to find a way. I need to find a way to counter that build comfortably. And then you just swap people around, essentially. Does Evade still get stunned? Yeah, pretty much. It's the same with, I mean, Prot Hollow's interesting to me, but Prot Hollow does no damage. Prot Hollow's kind of curious because it's got the shield. The shield 5 does a similar thing. There's a similar mechanism going on there. But it's not got enough follow-up lock-in, really. I don't know. Anyway, that was what I was thinking. So anyway, I made this character. I bought a new character slot, so we're up to 45 characters now. We're 45 out of 68, something like that, I think. So yeah, all right. Let's. Shall we play this? Yeah, let's play this. Let's play this. Why not? Oh wait, fuck. I should do the other race. I've done one of the races, but I haven't done the other one. I called my character the Cheese Merchant, which is named after one of the Divinity Original Sin characters. I miss our old Divinity Original Sin sound effect of join the Spud Club if you've got an eye for farm potatoes. I haven't. Oh man, I don't know. I should probably set that up. Where are you? Let's see. Here he is, Merlin. A scrapper could probably get a lot of electric aura uptime. No, it doesn't. You could run what? Gadget, AED. Doesn't that give you shocking aura? There's not much else than that. And if you're going gadgets, then that means you're on the tools line, which means that you're not taking inventions or you're not taking alchemy, both of which are really, really good. Hashtag boycott Blizzard. So I don't really know anything new that's happened with that today. I haven't really been following. I'm sure there's all kinds of stuff. Actually, yesterday though, I did read a thing. Some caster for the Hearthstone community stepped down and said, I'm not doing it anymore. But in his post, he did make an interesting point that he thinks Blizzard have every right to do what they did. Because basically, his view was, look, they don't want to set the precedent that their players and their casters and stuff should be using Blizzard's tournament, Blizzard's event, on Blizzard's money, Blizzard's exposure to politicize. It doesn't matter what the actual view is. It doesn't matter whether you view it as abhorrent, angelic, somewhere in the middle. It doesn't matter, you know, whether you're left, right, red, blue, whatever. It doesn't matter whether it's domestic issues or international issues. They do not want to set the precedent that people should be using their shit to politicize. That's not what they want their shit about. So the second it happens, you slam down hard on the first person, and you go from there. And I kinda get that. I really do. I think they're within their rights to feel that way. And obviously there's the risk reward of like, okay, how hard do we go and do we provoke a big controversy or not? I'm sure they weren't trying to provoke a big controversy. But I find that quite interesting. I find it interesting. All anyone wants to do is talk about Hong Kong. And maybe the truth is it's not about Hong Kong. It's got nothing to do with Hong Kong. It's not a statement from Blizzard that they disrespect Hong Kong or whatever. It's just that fundamental. That's an idea. I mean, you could obviously say, well, look at the money. They're clearly just pandering to the Chinese, blah, 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 blah. In which case, fair enough. But, you know, I think that that's an interesting perspective that I heard. And I think was actually more reasoned, more intelligent than anything I'd said on the subject. Except they do use politics when it's good for them. Well, I've never heard of Blizzard being genuinely political. I've never heard about them discussing events on the world stage. I've never heard them publicly supporting a candidate in the United States elections. I've never seen them decrying a candidate. I've never seen any of that. And if they have, it's been in small circles that people generally haven't given a shit, which means that based on the context it was delivered, there was nothing egregious about it. So I don't know what you're talking about. What examples have you got there? They did a Twitter apology, did they? I love how lazy a Twitter apology is, and yet it's like totally the thing to do, right? Because Twitter is like important somehow suddenly. Twitter's important. Can you guys join on me? Squad mission, strike mission. Let's do it. I'm on EU today. Strike mission. Can we get people in really quick? So by the way, as far as the monthly thing, getting the racial headpiece from opening the vault on map completion, it's the recovered char artifact chest that comes from the vault chest. So you need to open that to see if you get the drop. Ah, now I actually did get one yesterday and we didn't open it, did we? Oh, maybe I did. I guess I did. Yeah, you guys want to do the strike mission? We got one person right now. Does anyone want to come in and do it? Oh no, we got two. Here you go. So, oh, we get free keys out of it. That's interesting. So that's where the economy gets stimulated a little bit. Yep, log in, guys. Let's do the strike mission. Like I said, every day, let's start up with the strike mission. I don't feel like I've learned anything new about this strike mission. Every subsequent time I've done it so far, but whatever. I already said I'm EU. Listen. Yeah, I have to. Oh, there must be a bit of stream delay there. Took knocked a bit to respond. So yeah, by the way, with the idea of doing the monthly, I do have, I think it's 6 different people right now. I anticipate a couple more once the VOD of yesterday goes up on Wood Potatoes 2, which is right now as I'm speaking, the VOD's going up. So hopefully some more people will see it there. And just to be clear with you all as well, if you are interested in doing this, it literally happens in 1 week. It's on October 19th, okay? So it is 9 days away. That's it. It's only 9 days away. So you're not committing to some like super long-term schedule. You're going to be committing to about a week of playing once a day to learn it and do it. Anywhere from 1 to 3 hours a day. That's all you're doing. You're doing a week. And then once the monthly's there, if we've had fun and if it was good, then we'll go ahead. If not, then yeah, fuck you all. We'll stop. That'll be it. But that's what's going on. It's only you know, going to be about 7 days. Yeah, speaking of which, I won't do it today. But if everything is going good, tomorrow, that is the 11th, tomorrow, we'll start doing it. So the plan is right now, it's going to be at the time of the day that it's happening is after the stream. Basically, I'll do a stream, log off, and go straight into the Spud Discord and Heart of the Mist, and we'll be playing together. And we'll play for a period of 1 to 3 hours. That's what we'll do after the stream. So if you're here right now, if you can make it to the stream, if you're around, then that's a good time for you. Or if you get home from work just like an hour after the stream ends, then that's a good time for you as well. Or get home from school about an hour after the stream. So that's what we're gonna do. It's gonna happen immediately after the stream, for the 7 days leading into the thing. And I'll try and start tomorrow, as long as we have at least 4 people that are committed to that, and we'll do it. Because, you know, once we've got 4 people, then fuck it, let's do it. It's really weird, this shrine thing that lets me just skip to the end. It feels weird. Alright, let's go. I was the last one. Sorry, everybody. You should probably pass since you can only do weekends. Okay, so you can only do 2 days, is what you're telling me. Because like I said, it's only 1 week away. It's not weekends. It's the only 2 days of your life you can do it is the weekend. Well, all I'm really going for here is Silver Cougar. So that, you know, you don't have to take out the best of the best. We can start with Silver. We can have our eyes on Silver first. I don't know. It depends. I mean, some of you... noobs are welcome. Complete noobs are welcome. I'll try and explain everything. But, I mean, if we get just like 4 total noobs, then... don't expect to even get out of the first game, to be honest. But, you know, we'll see. 1 week of practice is still way more than most people. I can tell you the best teams won't be practicing every day for a week. They're doing them every 2 weeks until they catch up. Ah, interesting. So there's going to be a lot. So all the missed ones basically are coming out. That's interesting. The creators of South Park made a hilarious response. I actually heard that South Park... I haven't been watching... Last year, the 2018 South Park stuff, I didn't watch. I didn't... So a few years back, in like 2016 and 17, they did these heavily serialized seasons. It was basically as Trump was coming into office. They did these very, very serialized, which I thought was really artistic and a cool thing that changed up on the format, and I like to see that they were pushing their boundaries, you know, 15 years into a show, they were changing things up, and I appreciate it all. Turns out, I don't think Matt and Trey are very good at sculpting, like, a long-term narrative. They're very, like, stream of consciousness, not kind of TV show writers, you know. Sometimes they'll make, like, an episode in a day, right? Like, that's happened before with them. So, you know, they're very, very in-out. And it definitely didn't pay off. A lot of people ended up hating on the show. I didn't really have any problem back then. But the thing is, I find it really hard to watch them when they come out like 1 per week or whatever. I'd rather binge stuff. So last year in 2018, I didn't watch anything. I didn't watch any of the show. I pretty much forgot about the show. And then yesterday, I caught up. There's only 10 episodes. But I caught up. I watched all the 2018 stuff. And then the China episode they just did. Yeah, because of the Blizzard thing. I was like, oh, South Park did some stuff. And yeah, it's pretty interesting. I wonder if Disney does eventually end up acquiring that show. They'll have to stop airing that episode. Or any of the episodes where they're taking the piss out of Disney and, you know, personifying Disney with Mickey Mouse. I wonder whether they'll have to be like, yeah, you can't have that anymore, bro. Okay, so at 10 past was an event, but that was 6 minutes ago. So have I missed one of the metas, I wonder? Let's go have a look, shall we? Is it the thingy, the crypt? You're catching up right now, you're 2 seasons beyond. I really like the show, I do. I have a lot of respect for that show. Oh, okay, it's the effigy. Okay, yeah, this is good. This is good. So, most streams I've been missing doing this very first one. We're chatting too much at the start. But if I nab this now, it means that in the closing moments of today's Master episode, we're not going to be rushing to do this. We're free to do whatever else because we can get this one early. This is really good. As soon as the TV broadcaster says anything, South Park goes back to independent online. They won't care. Yeah, I mean, they do definitely have that kind of hipster attitude. I like their attitude to everything. I like Comedy Central as well. It is Comedy Central, isn't it? That basically just gives them the freedom to do, like, whatever the fuck, almost. Pretty good. You should listen to some interviews from them. They're creative guys, you know, as well. Doing stuff like the Team America movie, and, you know, they regretted it in the end, or, you know, it was a crazy amount of work. They'd never do something like that again, but in doing the Book of Mormon, right? The theater show. Got fingers and a lot of pies. Generally impressive. Okay, so now that that's done, we're going to be on the phase where lots of mini events are going on. We've got burrows we need to take out for that achievement. Maybe Kato can lead us to those. We've got the shootout, we've got drinks, we've got chefing to do. It's just kind of more of the same, honestly. It's more just get the map done. We can look at our daily as well. I'm going to start doing the jumping puzzle every day now as well. Actually, let's do that. I like that. It feels like there's... Look, doing the jumping puzzle every day is good as well, because what it means is in these little moments between the metas, I still have something very clear, and it's like, do this, you know? Which is good. Oh, Angels, dude, that's a good timed host as well, since we're just getting cooking here. Hello, everyone. Welcome. How long was your wind down? Angels just hosted for 80 people, but I saw, before I went live, he had well over 100. So I'm guessing you had like a nice long goodbye and everyone already trickled out. But it's good to see you, dude. And everyone who came over, probably into PvP. I'm probably not going to be talking about PvP that much. I mean, I already was. But I don't really have much else to say, to be honest. So, like it or lump it, you're in PvE now. Like it or lump it, that's what Guild Wars is all about. So, live with it. It's time to learn the magic of grinding in the Grothmar Wardowns. You might post an interesting article from Massively OP about ArenaNet's account security. Yeah, sure. I don't know what that's all about, but yeah, let's hear it. About ArenaNet's account security. What do you mean? Massively OP is an interesting site. They seem to like... They don't really seem to have much bias or whatever. They'll cover whatever, you know? How did you get to this stream? Angels hosted. Are you new to Twitch? A host... It's like he goes offline and he just says, all right, you guys can all go watch this guy now. And he picked me, and I'm very, very thankful for that. And lucky for that. You've been doing more PvP while between events? I found it really hard to PvP while trying to actively do PvE shit. I hope I have every key available right now. I should do. Because you'll be in the middle of an event and then your queue will pop and you won't get the rewards. Or your queue will end, you'll come in and you will have just missed the event or something. I've never found a good way, just because of the way that Guild Wars is structured, you know? If Guild Wars was full of like those World of Warcraft to kill 10 bear quests, where it's like, okay, I'm killing bears while I'm in queue and I've got 10 out of 20. And then my queue ends and then I get another 3 and then I get another pop and then... You know, that would work, but Guild Wars isn't made that way. So it's like the Balthazar event is in the middle of happening and then you've queue popped and you've got to get going or you're going to get Dishonor kind of thing. It just doesn't work. Okay. That knockback's kind of nice because it reminds you, bro, pick up a torch. I don't actually think I've ever experienced that either. That's not phased or anything. Only one player gets to do that every however long. I don't know. I don't remember any other time I've been here that was a thing. This place is quite nice at night. Do I run a site or something huge for Guild Wars 2? I do have a site, but I don't use it for anything. I only ever used it once. And it's kind of just sitting there dead because I don't have any talent to work with it or to build it. I used to do stuff with it with this amazing guy called Welk. He had the other name of Waldir. He worked with me on arty things and stuff for years. But he stopped not this Christmas that just went, but the Christmas before. He moved on from Guild Wars and helping me and everything, and he's out there. If you go on YouTube right now, you can turn off my stream, it doesn't matter, but go to YouTube and type Guild Wars 2 Heart of Thorns login screen. You'll find a video, a mock-up, a concept mock-up that Waldir did, which is like the beta login screen and that beautiful animation, but he did a Heart of Thorns version of it, and you'll see like his artistry. Yeah, cat is porting us, so do portals definitely work? I'm not gonna get screwed here. Very nice, thank you, man. You'll see his art. He was a really talented guy. Anyway, he helped me out with the website and stuff, but he moved on, and I've just sort of been sitting here ever since. Cho, a couple of months ago, helped me out. Cho is a similarly talented person, but hasn't worked with me anywhere near to the degree that Waldir used to. So I'm kind of just on my own at the moment. But yeah, sorry, to answer your question, yeah, I'm on YouTube. That's all I am. Just a random. Damn it! I hate Deraw, right? Because I'd like to call myself a random asshat, but I can't now because he is the definitive random asshat. Damn it! He's stolen my identity. I'm not thrilled. But as long as we don't fall, I think we should be good. I still don't know whether that water is going to put out the torch if I touch it. Because I feel like that's been a mechanic somewhere in Guild Wars, somewhere along the way, right? This JP's a bit like Sab World 1. World 1. Zone 1 or World 1? And if you mean fully World 1, what is it? What do you mean, like the swamp area? Or? It feels more complicated to me than Sab World 1. Sab World 1 is very, like, WASD heavy. Very clear. Okay, I don't have the trait for swiftness on overload, so we had to utilize the super... Oh, no, maybe I do. Oh, one more brazier. This one. You were just about to call me a random ass out. Well, don't. There you go. So we get unlucky. That's it? That's the whole story, is it? What the fuck is this? That looked like a bunny for a second, the zucchini seeds. Okay, let's go check the shootout and the general... I like the keep area. I like this waypoint because there's like 3 events right here. And the daily might be to find the hidden kid, the hiding kid. So we can get that as well. Doesn't look like it is. Ooze pit participant, though. Don't see anything here. Oh yeah, I could just use the skill 2 for swiftness. That's a good point, yeah. I'm telling you guys, the cooldown on this drinks event, this does not seem very high. Every day I'll see that chefing one going at some point, but I rarely see this one, it seems. Anyway, target's hit. They're about to finish this. I think by the time I get there, it'll be over. So let's check the races, and let's check Kazmir. Now, it strikes me that that crater race we haven't done on any of these days. Oh my god, there we go. So I want to go to it at kind of an odd time. It can't be true that the only time it comes up is after the Metal Legion Festival, right? There must be other times. It's really weird to think about riding along like this and putting this in the context of Guild Wars 1. Just how fast we're moving. It's like faster than you would move with Toolbox, you know, with a desynced camera. It's faster than you'd move with that. The races always start at the same time as metas. You kind of have to make a choice. Really? That's like some weird... That's a weird decision from the devs. This one finished recently enough that we can grab the Spirit Banner and refresh the heroes. All right, so because this would be really nice as a between meta thing, wouldn't it? Shouldn't it just be kind of everything is a between the meta thing, and then this is not. I guess we'll do Devourer Burrows. The mount pick is amazing. Yeah, it's really good. If you you search up on YouTube Guild Wars 2 radial mount wheel or whatever, it will come up. I've done a video on it. Have I done 2 videos on it? Did I do a video on the update? I think I did a video on an update. It's been updated subsequently further again, which I haven't covered. That was when they added like the novelties and stuff. What button? Like this. And then the squad wheel too. This one here. So I can drop squad markers anywhere I like. Very easily on one button. If I want to put a circle over on the road. My binds are set up that it actually breaks a little bit, but hey. I can turn them off with that as well. Oh, what? No, 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 you lied to me. There is a race going on. Someone just got first place. It's this one. Someone got first. Oh, we need to speak to him first. That guy got second. Do you think there's more participants? There probably are. Unless this counts as coming up at the same time as the effigy. But, I mean, the effigy was in its closing stages when we got here. Wait, does that mean there's another meta up right now? No, that guy just ended in third. I'm character selecting, going back in to turn the music off. You haven't heard anything about Darour since that JP incident? Someone came to my... I don't really follow him or know him very well. But someone came to my chat and told me that he was quitting the game or something the other day. I didn't look into it. I was going to. I think I looked at his channel for about half a second. And then thought... And didn't see like an announcement or anything. And then got bored of the idea. I did like the look of his thumbnails though. And it reminded me that I wanted to change all mine at some point. He will be if templates don't change. Oh, is he on the template hate train, is he? Let's go back to keep and just see. Oh, here you go. We got the bars. Customer happiness is... Fuck, maybe it's that this finishes quick. Right, like Kato is the only... No, he's not the only person here. What do they all call him for? Haha. It says stop toying with drunk Char. That guy wants the special. It's over. Fuck. This map kind of sucks. All I'm doing right now is walking around trying to find events. That's all I'm doing. And I just keep finding the end of events. The end of the race. The end of the shootout. The end of the fucking bartender. Which I was looking at a second before. Let's try the derby now. Yeah, it finishes real quick if there's more than 2 people. Well, there's no burrows here, even though it looks like there are. What else have we got here? Codebreaker, the Valley Racer. We'll get all these other ones. These other ones are fine. Surely the Kazmir event is up right about now, maybe? Oh, I do see another race. Oh, it's the same one. It's the same race. mean, I could probably get some more peppers as well. We'll check the pepper vendor in a second. Hey, finally there's a nest. Got one. Alright, let's go. Why always my instinct is a heat sink before leaving a fire. It doesn't actually do anything when I'm single player. I wonder whether any of the elite summons actually hit hard if you give them 25 might and fury. I have no way of giving them quickness, which is really the big problem with them. They're very slow to execute their animations. They're really got to be a lot quicker moving in, quicker triggering stuff. But I wonder whether... I'm pretty sure the air guy is supposed to do reasonable single target damage. Well, back in the day, that used to be what we'd think of it. I mean, it's pretty good single target anyway, because it does actually have a stun. You don't really think about that, but you do have a direct single target focus stun on this class for your elite skill. That should be quite a prominent, important thing to recognize. But again, it's not actually... It's not on demand enough, you know. It's like press the button, wait for it to maybe eventually throw a projectile that will potentially not be blinded and potentially not be obstructed and potentially not be reflected and potentially not be dodged and potentially not be invulned and potentially they won't have stability. And then, congratulations, you stun them. Well, we have a waypoint where the kids are still, and they've not respawned. Oh, well, they're there, but the event isn't going. Wonder if the shooter is starting again. Got a meta in 6 minutes. Hey, Cho, we were just talking about you. How's it going? Well, this build template discussion is just reminding me I really need to do a video about it. Oh, you heard? You were listening in chat, were you, at the time? Didn't realise you'd be lurking. Chief event is up. The shootout is just triggered, just as I'm walking away. Wait, what's the chief event? What do you mean chief event? Sorry. Oh, chief. I can't read, man. I don't know what this is. Chef event. Alright, what do we want to do most? The chef event or the shootout? They're both important, but whatever, we'll do this.
Impossible. I'm never gonna get this food prepped in time without a... You, hey, you look great. So,
is time warp actually important here?
Lots of hungry char, not a lot of time to cook. I see an ingredient, just toss it over. Might need it chopped or grilled too. Just pay attention, you'll do fine. You know what this needs? Spiky fruit. I knew the answer. I was just testing you. Just toss it over whole, would you?
Look how quick that was.
It'll give it some tang, some punch. And make sure you chop it up.
Oh my god, look how quick this is as well. All the dialogue on the entry to this event is a bit weird.
Shiverpeak salmon's just what this crowd needs. Coals are hot. Let's do it.
They don't normally do that.
I need it whole.
They don't normally do that because, like, if you're getting there at the end. But here they weren't scared to.
Who'd have guessed, right? Good thing I brought a bunch. And make sure you chop it up.
Okay, chop up the coconut. I'm actually learning my way around this virtual kitchen now. Like, full on.
Now just need to add some chicken stock and reduce. Toss some over here.
Okay.
My mentor learned a great recipe for Shiverpeak salmon in Thunderhead Keep. Let's get that going. Chopped up to bits.
I love that. I love that moment where I'm like, do you want it? You want it chopped? All right, I'll go chop it up for you. Like, it's real. Don't move.
Shiverpeak salmon's just what this crowd needs. Coals are hot. Let's do it. Give me the whole thing.
Who's the guy he's talking about that he knew from Thunderhead
Let's add some
Peaks?
fresh boar meat, straight from the hunting grounds. Don't do anything to it. I need it whole.
Fresh boar meat, okay.
This needs something exotic. Coconut. Definitely coconut. Good idea. Don't do anything to it. I need it whole.
Alright, look at how
You know
fast
what
I am
this
now.
needs? Spiky fruit. I knew the answer. I was just testing you. And make sure you chop it up.
So look, I'm ready. Get the ingredients, stand between him and like the chopping board, ready just in case.
Char cubs love coconut. Who'd have guessed, right?
Wait, I
Good
messed
thing I
up.
brought a bunch. Give me the whole thing.
Damn it. We can have it for him already. We've got so many of these to
My
do, guys.
mentor learned a great recipe for Shiver Peak salmon in Thunderhead Keep. Let's get that going. And make sure you chop it up.
Oh, there's another chopping board here. Nice. Yeah, like, who's this mentor? What's going on with this? The Shiver Peak salmon. Why did I say Thunderhead?
You know what? Vegetables. I forgot the vegetables. Get me some. And make sure you toss it on the grill first.
Yeah, it's not a large percent that you use Arc. It's a tiny percent. It's so small that
Shiver
people...
Peak salmon's just what this crowd needs. Coals are hot. Let's do it. Give me the whole thing.
Okay. What's he cooking it all in, by the way?
Let's add some fresh boar meat, straight from the hunting grounds. Don't do anything to it. I need it whole.
Like, when I give him raw boar meat, maybe I grill it sometimes first.
1 apple. Yeah, that'll do the trick. Chopped up to bits.
But I'm giving him raw meat. Where's he cooking that up? Where's his furnace? Where's his oven?
I need some shark meat. Stuff cost me a fortune. Just toss it over whole, would you?
He's still not asked me for any water. I haven't experienced him asking for water yet. He so rarely asks for shit from this table. I missed it. I missed. Fuck. Shark meat is what he wanted, right?
Okay, I need to add the vegetables now so they're cooked in time with everything else. And make sure you chop it up.
Okay.
I need some shark meat. Stuff cost me a fortune.
Or flour.
Just toss it over whole, would you?
Now, when's he asked me for flour?
You know, an apple would be perfect for this. Knew a char who couldn't get enough of them. Memories.
Grill or what?
Chop that sucker up
you.
good.
The chopping board's all the way over here. Bad RNG. And a 1 out of 3 chance for that being really good.
Oh, no. It's getting too thick. Toss me some water, fast.
There it is! Yeah, those apples thickening it up.
That shark meat's been marinating for days. Let's get it prepped. Don't do anything to it. I need it whole.
What do you marinate shark meat in? Brine? What is it?
I gotta pep up the base. You know what that means? Chicken stock. Loads of it.
Alright.
I've done all I can. Time for the big guns. Get me the secret sauce.
Oh my god, I love how over the top that line is, and they probably told the voice actor to be over the
Char
top.
cubs love coconut. Who'd have guessed, right? Good thing I brought a bunch. Chop that sucker up good.
Alright, he's going to a chopping table anyway, so... Chopping board. Did you know that chopping boards have more
My mentor
bacteria
learned a great
than
recipe for
your
Shiver
common
Peak
toilet
salmon
seat?
in Thunderhead Keep. Let's get that going. Give it a quick sear on the grill.
That's what I'm talking about. I don't like giving him raw fish. I don't like the sense of that. I like it when he tells me to grill it, though.
Let's add some fresh boar meat, straight from the hunting grounds. Just toss it over whole, would you?
I feel like I could eat it straight up.
Let's add some fresh boar meat, straight from the hunting grounds. Give
Now,
it a
what does the
quick
apple
sear
go
on
with?
the grill.
The apple goes with the boar meat, because, you know, you stick it in the boar's mouth. Voila. You got like that thing where you're eating a whole pig. Fuck. Throw this last one before it ends.
Perfect. Keep up the good work, chef.
Alright, we got some good value there. We got a lot of them. There's many we need to do the achievement, but we did do good. I like the levels that ArenaNet set these at the moment. It feels like, you know, there's going to be a lot of players doing these for a long time. Raw fish for sashimi? What, you can put apple with raw fish? Is that what that is, really? Maybe he's talking about the food salesman char in the blacksmith room in Thunderhead. Maybe. He doesn't mention Thunderhead, though, does he? He just mentions the Shiver Peaks, I think. Or does he mention Thunderhead? Anyway. Listening comprehension skills, very low. One of the metas just started. I'm guessing it's the Ooze Pit. I think Ooze Pit. The Derby's up as well, apparently. But let me just check this. Oh, no. I lied. I'm wrong. It's not at 20 past. It's at 22. So it's definitely the Derby. The Derby is what we do now. Derby is where we go. Let's go do that. He did mention Thunderhead. Okay. Alright, he did. Alright. So yeah, maybe that's it then. A food salesman char in a blacksmith room. I don't personally remember that too well, but I'm convinced that you guys are right. You know what you're talking about. I'm sure you're right. Alright.
A brutal demolition.
God bless Kato. Look at this. He's letting us farm him again. Oh my god. The scumbags we are. Wait, that guy last hit. That was an NPC as well. We got screwed by the game. ArenaNet knows. Oh, he's fighting back. We should go for the NPCs. I'm gonna obstruct so the NPCs hit him. Oh, we both got done. The AoE. Fuck this guy. Oh, Doomlord is up. Oh, I don't know how this works. It's right. Doomlord's just on the escorts, right? Yeah, kill stealing NPCs. I know, right? Such a shame. By the way, guys, I'm not addicted to League. I haven't played it for a couple of days now. So, suck it. I was capable of going back to the chocolate cake, getting a mouthful, getting a whole slice, eating the whole cake, and then not buying another one. Not going back. There you go. Beautiful. Self-control. I've had my fill. I am sated. Doomlord boss soon. Cougar says, alright, so maybe we dip out of this in a second. Yeah, let's go. I still want to drive one of these around. Fuck. Someone remind me, once Doomlord's done, to come back here and see if we can grab one of these cars. A new beta pass just came out for TFT, so the urge is strong. I know that feeling, man. That's the greatest feeling. When I think back to being like at school, do you guys remember how excited you used to get home from school to play whatever game you were currently into? Do you remember just like sitting there thinking about it, just like so excited? There's a certain like heat, a certain moment in the mid to late afternoon where the sky is clear and the sun is shining and you're in your school clothes and you've just come home and you've kicked off your shoes and you run over into your bedroom, you jump on your bed, it's a little bit springy, there's a nice fresh breeze coming in, and you boot up that PlayStation, right? Or whatever your generation console is. And you turn it on, and you're playing that game, and you're like, ah, oh, I'm not at school anymore. And you didn't even get changed yet. You're just like, leisure begins. That moment, oh, what a moment.
So is its end.
It's not like when you're an adult and you get home from work, and you're so preoccupied with, you know, all the stresses of, you know, bills and whatever else is going on, your failing marriage, your unhealthy children, whatever it is that ails you, you know. It's not the same as those beautiful, clean summer afternoons where you would just chill, playing, you know, whatever.
Think I know what those cubs saw.
Put some Tomb Raider 1 on. Baked beans for dinner. Well, I mean, you could do that as an adult if you want. You could still do the baked beans for dinner if you wanted. I remember an old advert in the UK. I think they were trying to sell like a different package of beans. Like it wasn't beans from a tin anymore. It was like, they were like these little plastic pots. And I remember an advert, this was a few years ago now, where like you saw like a mother eating them. You saw like a man early in his career was like doing it and then spreading it on toast. You saw like an old lady do it next to some mashed potato or something. And then you see like a college student and he just literally just like eats it straight out of the pot or just dunks like raw white bread into it and just like pulls it out cold or something. I remember that advert, and they were trying to be like, look, everyone can eat beans when they're packaged like this. It's a foodstuff for all the ages. You know, you've got to get that money. You've got to make sure everyone knows that it's okay to eat beans in any way you like. I remember that. But I've always thought that's like, you don't want to be the guy that eats too many beans as an adult. You'll have beans on toast for tea. Beans on toast is a good meal, man. Don't get me wrong. Beans on toast is a good meal. A little bit of salt and pepper on it. The toast, you want the toast done so it's like pretty crispy, right? Pretty hard and pretty crispy. Bit of butter on there, and then beans with salt and pepper. That's the good bit at the end there. That salt and pepper. That's a good lunch. Triples the cost, of course. Yeah. They would be more expensive than just getting in a tin or whatever. That sounds so British. Beans on toast. Well, it is pretty British, I think. There's a good reason it sounds British. It is.
You buying or selling?
Let's see if the car's available for actually, wait, before we do that. Oh, the skimmer races
I've
up.
got
Holy
what
fuck,
you need.
that's important. I mean, we're going to get so many of these from the PvP tracks. Do I need to manually purchase some of these now? I think I might need to, right? Let's just do the voice of metal, I guess. Warhorn? I wonder if it has a special sound. We could actually equip it right now and see. Because we're a Tempest.
I hope Tribune Brimstone visits the Oozpit while he's here. Be great to see him in action.
Don't hold your breath.
It does have a special sound effect. It sounds like wailing. Is it meant to sound like kind of like a rock concert-y thing? Not quite sure what that was, but it definitely does have a unique sound. Have I ever heard of Hawaii toast? Okay, no, not until right now, and I've certainly never eaten anything like what I imagine it to be. But here's what I imagine it to be. I imagine it to be like pineapple on toast. I'm not sure what you'd have with it. But I like Hawaiian pizza, so I'm sure I can imagine pineapple on toast working. What do? You just fucking lather it in cheese again, just like with a pineapple pizza? And it'll be something like that, right? It sounds weird. It does sound weird. But I bet it tastes alright. That's it with ham and cheese. Yeah, ham, cheese, pineapple. I can imagine it. Total Race has already finished 4. So this is irrelevant. People have already beaten it. Okay, another event that there was no point to go to. It's a German dish. Oh, okay, alright. What's this thing? Guild Wars 2 Studio ArenaNet chased the 2016 Gale Grey account hacker all the way to Germany and lost. Whoa, what is this? I'm up for this post. Let's see. Okay, I'll put it online for you guys. I'll put it on screen for you as well, guys. Hold on, let me just sort this out, though. Need to remember how to do this. It's got to be window cap plus this. Now, I don't know how many I have. You guys certainly can't see shit right now. This isn't right. It should have a filter on there. Well, that's fine. Crop. All my bookmarks and shit off of the top. Just because. Give me 1 second, guys. You'll have it up there. I don't know why this is reverted. I had all of this set up. Wow, that's over 100 pixels of just bookmarks and stuff. That's wild. Do I want to crop from the bottom as well? Probably a little bit. And then let's get rid of the scroll bar as well. Okay. And then let's shrink it down. Alright, you're going to get their adverts and shit, but whatever, I guess. Alright, so there you go, guys. This is my browser. Guild Wars 2 Studio ArenaNet chased the 2016 Gale Grey account hacker all the way to Germany and lost. Now, if you guys don't know this story, the story was in 2016, a Guild Wars 1 hack occurred. It has nothing to do with Guild Wars 2. But basically, the big community manager for years was this woman, Gail Gray. She left with the layoffs. Earlier in this year, she left. It was kind of a big moment. It's a strange thing to me because Gail was a very loved, very recognized, very old, long-term ArenaNet employee. Like, she was adored by everyone and known by everyone through Guild Wars 1. She was super on top of the world kind of thing. And when Guild Wars 2 development started, obviously she got quiet. And then when Guild Wars 2 came out, she, everyone assumed she was going to be, like, in that role again. But she wasn't. She was doing something else behind the scenes. Maybe to do with the sci-fi MMO. I don't know what. Or she was just working on company stuff. I've got no idea, right? But she kind of, like, wasn't there. Then, like, maybe it was around Heart of Thorns. Maybe a little bit earlier. Somewhere around there. She came to do it for Guild Wars 2. But, here's the thing. That huge gap. I think most Guild Wars 2 players, by the time she came back to the front, she didn't have that status anymore. Because it had, you know, among a few people, she definitely did. But I think she'd lost a lot of her status. And then, she was kind of the face of forum moderation. Like, she was the one cleaning up threads. She was the one spanking down little boys and little girls with the hyperbole and rage on the forums. She was the authoritarian silencer of free speech and over-moderator and all this bullshit, you know. For every, like, 5 haters you find on the official forums, you're like, they removed my thread. It's because they talk like wankers. It's not because they actually, you know, it's not because ArenaNet are trying to hide issues or the people don't have profound points. It's because you talk like a wanker and you are a wanker. So you get banned on the forums. That's most of the thing. But she was the kind of the one that would merge a lot of the threads and she would stop the conversations. It was always her name. So she kind of, I don't think, so she already had lost a lot of, like, her recognition. But then I think in general, for most, like, Reddit users and shit like that, I think her name was not a particularly loved one anymore. Among some, certainly, you know, and I don't mean to typecast or whatever, but I think that kind of happened. I think her reputation shifted a bit, and I think a lot of people didn't kind of like what she stood for and the way that she moderated and so on. And then she left earlier in this year. Well, and anyway, the whole reason I say this whole story is when she left, like I said, she was like a god. She was like the community manager. Everyone freaking adored this woman. And yet, when she left this year, how much talk has there really been about it? Not much. But this is a profound departure. This is like a big departure in a lot of ways, you know. For all the people like banging on about, oh, she's not really a dev, by the way. She's never really been a dev, so that's kind of maybe a thing. Why people don't care much or whatever. But it's very interesting to me how minimal the response has been compared to what it could have been and probably should have been, given her signature and her status from the Guild Wars 1 days especially. Just kind of shows how much the time has changed. Anyway, as this prominent, like, particularly during the Guild Wars 1 days, woman, her account had a special mini on it. It was a mini frog. I don't really know the story. I'm not a big enough nerd. I don't know. Why did she have a frog? Why did she care about... Did she like frogs IRL? I don't know. What was it called again? I can't remember. But she had a mini. She had a unique mini. There is one virtual item in all of Guild Wars 1. And only her account had it. And she would rep this mini. That was it. It was only her. So, obviously, that's a juicy prize. And so, anyway, in 2016, long after Guild Wars 1's, you know, not many people are looking at it or thinking about it anymore, some hacker hacks her account. I think they, like, do it through social engineering. I think they find out some information about her. They get her password on some website or whatever. Turns out she used it on the other one, I think was the story. I can't remember if they were trying to suppress that information or what. But in any case, they got her account. And logged in and got the mini off of it. I think traded it away or something like that. Used dev commands to do stuff. Did they trigger a festival? They might have triggered a festival early or something like that. They were doing weird things because she has, like, you know, dev controls and moderator commands and stuff. So, and then the dev stepped in. There was actually a reversion as well. I think that the servers got, like, rolled back for the first time in, like, years because of this event. I think there was an actual rollback. That's my memory of the 2016 event, which does not seem like long ago to me. Gale, of course, left in 2019. early 2019. So here we go. What are they talking about? Back in 2016, Massively OP covered an odd story about the Guild Wars franchise and a hack that seemingly involved the account of a then ArenaNet employee, Gale Gray. As we reported at the time, someone had accessed and logged into Gray's Guild Wars account and trashed it rather publicly, which prompted a statement from Mike O'Brien that clarified the hack was down to social engineering of customer support agents. There you go, that was what it was. I had forgotten all about the incident in the ensuing years. Don't say this, it wasn't long ago. After all, ArenaNet had many more ups and downs since then. Oh, what a shameless way to get people to just click your other articles. Including the Spyware Gate mess. I don't think this was as big as they're making it out. In which a clever gamer employed the GDPR to access his Guild Wars 2 data and prove that he and other people had been unjustly banned. But Massively OP, recently contacted by the hacker involved in the Gale Gray hack incident, and the story he told us led down a bizarre path of Reddit trolling, police raids, court appearances, wisecracking German judges, account bans, social engineering, and an apparent security loophole that could have put every Guild Wars and Guild Wars 2 player's account at risk. Let's start from the beginning. Linny, we're going to call him, was a 19-year-old computer science student in Germany back in 2016. He's far from the ideal witness here, given his history, but he's at the heart of the tale. He says his original Guild Wars accounts had been banned for exploiting back when he was 13, but he hoped to get them restored following a mass unbanned wave that year. So he contacted customer support several times in that effort and was ultimately led into an account without proper verification. I tried getting back another account where I only remembered the character name, he told us. I really didn't have much info about the account. My real name and everything didn't seem to satisfy the report. Then they give me a hint that the email domain at blah 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 was wannado.fr, and I thought, that's weird. I don't have a French email. Thinking it was a friend's account, he admitted it wasn't his and had them check a different email. Then a magical thing happened. The support agent asked what email I wanted the wannado.fr account to be linked to. I was really confused as I just told him it's not my account. He took the account as a freebie, he said, and thus the backstory that got him into this trouble that began. So, they've lost me. So he doesn't know how to log in. They give him a hint about what his email is. And then they just hand him an account? Why did they ask him to link this account to something else? Move from the waypoint while reading all this. Alright, here we go. I moved from the waypoint. There you go. Sorry, guys. Seemingly oblivious to how bad he'd look if caught, Lenny says he decided to try again to see just how pliable support really was, to see whether he'd found a reusable loophole. I thought I'd try with someone famous that didn't play anymore, White Wasabi. According to copies of the support convo shared with MOP, that's them, it took Lenny very little effort to convince a customer support rep to hand over Wasabi's accounts with nothing more than character guild names and a made-up birthday and address. ArenaNet would later characterize this as social engineering, a technical exploit, but in reality it appears that the support rep simply wasn't following protocol or even checking the information Lenny was providing for this incident for the multiple other attempts he made to slip through the studio's support security. Wow. I mean, it's very important here that they're not following protocol, right? That kind of absolves ArenaNet to a certain degree. To say it was just one poor support employee or whatever. But Jesus. And yes, there were several... I mean, how rarely at this point would people be asking Guild Wars 1 support of stuff? So you can imagine they'd be a bit laissez-faire about it. And yeah, there were several of these incidents. Lenny estimates he was successful in about 5 of his 7 attempts over the course of a few months. Frankly, we believe it was probably quite a bit more. Okay, who cares what you believe? At this point, you are surely wondering whether Lenny is a good guy or a bad guy. No, he's a bad guy. We certainly too. What do you mean? What? We certainly were too. He's admitted an unrepentant social engineer, so we weren't taking anything on faith. But everything we've uncovered indicates he never actually sold any of the items or accounts he acquired through these intrusions, and didn't seem to be profiting from his activities or trying to pressure or extort ArenaNet into doing anything but shore up its security. Nobody's been able to demonstrate there was genuine malice in what he was doing, Moreover, it does seem as if he made repeated efforts to notify ArenaNet about the social engineering loophole he was toying with. What do you mean, it seems? What substantiate what the fuck you're talking about? Which is not something a black hat hacker would do. What's this weird sympathetic tone for a dickhead? What is this? What kind of a post is this? Is it because they're like, oh, thanks for giving us a scoop. Here, we'll make you look sympathetic. Is that what this is? Those look more actions like the actions of a grey hat. For example, he told us that he bypassed the studio's exploit report form, since this wasn't technically a game exploit and he didn't want it buried by low-level support staff. Instead, he says he contacted ArenaNet's customer service lead, who was then Michael Henninger, and security lead, then Chris Cleary, through Steam, and showed them a pastebin of how easily customer support had relinquished accounts to him. They didn't... Well, this sounds good. They didn't really believe it, he told us. So he posted his concerns to Reddit, only to see the first 2 threads closed and deleted as the mods rightly thought it would embolden other hackers with a working roadmap. He also forwarded a copy of one of the threads directly to Cleary. We have reviewed that message. Here's a part of one of those now deleted threads where Lenny details his activities, and we confirm that none of this will work in 2019, so don't bother. Here are some examples. I don't want your more stories. For one of the accounts, the GM was absolutely adamant about requiring us. This is what I thought, that they were doing the CD key thing. So I sent in an old trial CD key I had laying around. They do not even verify that it matches, only that it's a valid CD key. I got turned over the account. Another GM was insisting that I provide actual information. Said, oh, never mind, it's not actually my account. Got sent a reset link 10 minutes later. Wow. Wait, the GM asked for actual info. He says, never mind then. And then they give him the link anyway. What the fuck? I often simply put... Is this one support guy or what? I often simply put the character name as real name when opening a ticket, which led to some funny situations like the GM addressing me by, hello, Mr. Legend, when I contacted them about Legend of Danjang. Another tip when trying this method. What the fuck? A tip when trying this method. So he's blatantly encouraging other people to try it. Yeah, okay. Let's just brush past that and ignore that, shall we, Massively OP? It's often possible to scrape fan sites and the Guild Wars wiki for information that will make the support turn over an account. This is especially applicable when taking over valuable accounts of people that are active in the community. Got it. I feel vulnerable here. For foreign players' accounts, it helps to write in broken English. The support is more likely to give you the benefit of the doubt that way. Yeah, earlier in the article, to give him credit, they said it seems like he might have done it a lot more than he's telling us. To be able to make that observation, to have detected a trend in success rates if you act like you have broken English, you're going to have a pretty high sample size for that, right? Either that or he's kind of exaggerating a bit in this particular post. Since the Guild Wars 2 login is shared with Guild Wars 1...
The ooze pit offers a chance to flaunt your skin.
Alright, the Tannoy there telling me about the ooze pit's actually pretty cool. I've just muted dialogue though. Since Guild Wars 2 login is shared with Guild Wars 1, I obtained the leadership of the Last Pride Evil by taking over the Guild's Guild Wars 2 account. All that was required was his real name from the official Guild Wars website. As for the address, I opened Google Maps, dragged the Street View guide of a random location in South Korea. After I provided this completely bogus information, I was promptly given the account. It seems to depend on the support agent handling your ticket, but overall there's about a 50% chance of success for attempts to take over an account without having any information beyond a character name. I'm telling you all this because I'm starting to seriously fear for my own legit account. I'm sure, yeah, because that doesn't... You know. Why would you make the situation more volatile? What I would say, by the way, is this is very interesting in the context of other games like Guild Wars that are old and are kind of being sort of skeleton crew supported, kind of, you know? There's probably a fuck ton of MMOs and online experiences out there where similar stuff might be going on. Lenny claims after these reports he waited a while to see if ArenaNet had tightened security, but he was still able to snag more accounts. Frustrated, he posted another warning thread on Reddit telling players directly that their accounts are at risk and accusing ArenaNet of not taking his private reports seriously. That thread, now 3 years old, is still up in full. Your accounts are at risk, ArenaNet not listening. Deep in that thread, Michael Henninger publicly admitted to not believing the anonymous post. Send me a ticket number as 100% proof or I stand by this is not happening, he wrote on Reddit. If I'm wrong and it is happening, I will be corrected immediately. I'll never say that it hasn't happened. People make mistakes and I hire people, not robots. I'm saying in this case it didn't happen and it most certainly is not our policy or practice. This is all good to hear from ArenaNet, but if they were wrong ultimately, that's a real shame. Is he not there anymore? I don't remember this. I never caught this dev. I tried to watch every dev post, but I never caught this. So Lenny provided that ticket number in public. Henninger responded to say the final note in the ticket thread denied access to an account. But wait. Lenny provided a ticket number in public. Henninger responded to say the final note in the ticket thread denied access to an account. But Lenny pointed out that was only after the CS rep had already handed over 2 other accounts. Well, but doesn't he need to provide the tickets for those specific incidents? Then the ArenaNet replies went dead in spite of other gamers' attempts to page the devs. Well, that's just nonsense. So this hits Reddit, Lenny told us. You'd think now they fix it. It's already a scandal and the lead support is already involved. He saw the ticket. They should be fixing it, right? They're so loaded. But they didn't change the policies. I was scared for my own account at this point because it wasn't just one ticket in 10 where this happens. From my own experiences, around 90% of the tickets opened. What? Didn't we get a specific number a minute ago? Didn't they give like a very I can't remember where it is. I could get this account at any point, so I thought I'd show support how ridiculous their policies are. I thought, who's the most notable person in Guild Wars all support all together? Gale Gray. I didn't realize this was all like a deliberate attempt. Okay, so now Gale, and he's going to target her account. Mop readers will recall this is where we picked up the story ourselves. Players reported Gale's account had been hacked in August of 2016. ArenaNet's then president Mike O'Brien provided the company's formal statement at the time, alleging that a hacker socially engineered blah blah blah. Even though he acknowledged the hacker didn't do much, mainly spew profanities, hand out Gray's loot, delete unrecoverable items, mess with gold spammers, and tried to attract attention to himself, he also defended the company's support teams. So Mo's comment was to socially engineer the CS agent. The hacker provided a variety of personal details about Gale, but we don't accept personal details as a primary proof of account ownership. We require things like verifying billing info, 2-factor auth, access to the account's primary phone number, access to its primary IP address, in which IP address ownership is clearly established. When we can't verify, we decline access, knowing that incorrectly declining is an unfortunate but better outcome than incorrectly granting. These are all established and documented policies. We have a great team of customer support agents. So Mo is saying they do things one way. This guy is saying, well, no, they've been too lazy about this, and I've got in loads of times, and I even got into Gale. Lenny maintains he was trying to bring attention to the security loophole, explicitly denying O'Brien's assertion that he shopped around for vulnerable CS agent. We got a look at the ticket thread in which Lenny acquired Gale's account, and he looks like to have been one of his easiest conquests yet. He merely asked support to change Gray's email account to a Gmail account he owned. The support agent requested more than a dozen bits of information. Lenny responded with several easy-to-guess bits of info, like Gray's name, character names, and display names. But then he made up an obviously incorrect birthday, phone number, and street address. He provided no serial codes, credit card, and verification, IPs, or anything else that O'Brien wrote were standard requirements for these requests, just as with the past breaches Lenny had carried out. In our opinion of the text of the ticket, it was disturbingly easy. I was able to verify you as the owner of this account, the support person had replied. I updated the email address of the account to the one you requested, and that was that. Lenny was in, and he won't sugarcoat it. He made an absolute mess of that account, trashing what ArenaNet... Like, this guy's a cunt. Like, listen. Like, don't make out like he's some fucking internet Robin Hood, all right? He's like a fucking early 20, like, internet prick that's got a bit of power and control and is trying to look noble to justify being a knobhead, all right? Let's call a spade a spade. It's so embarrassing. If I wrote this massively OP article, I'd be so embarrassed of, like, the slant I've decided to give this. It's so fucking see-through. That was that. Robin Hood, blah, 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 blah. Okay. I mean, at least they have the decency of pointing this out. Trashing what ArenaNet would later publicly claim was unrecoverable loot in a public spectacle and distributing cheap festival hats to the crowd. In fact, we asked him about whether he felt bad about Gray's account in retrospect, and he told us he didn't. that he intentionally targeted Gray's GM account for official businesses, for official ArenaNet business, not Gray herself. If I wanted to mess with Gale, I would have taken over her personal account, he said. Oh, she has 2? There's a plainly stubborn, trollish streak in him, not being alright, let's justify him more, blah, blah, blah. I'm not unlocking doors, the doors are open, he insisted. Granted, I was really mad at ArenaNet, and I was 19-year-olds and not so mature then. So I did something that would get attention. I went to Camadan, the city where most people congregate, and made it obvious I'm not Gale with foul language, then went on and muted some gold sellers and tried to ban some. Didn't work, unfortunately. I needed so much attention that they can't hide it again. I tried so hard to let them know. They knew, they ignored it. It resulted in all my accounts being terminated, but I knew this would happen. I didn't hide my identity. Filler. 3 months after the incident, Lenny's mother called him. The Karlsruhe police were raiding his apartment. So, do any Germans in chat want to tell me what this is? They had a warrant to cart away his PC, laptop, monitors, and USB sticks, all because ArenaNet had... Wait, so are we really going down the road here of, oh, it's so sad, he got raided. Oh, he was just trying to point out a loophole, and now he's a victim of the police. They had a warrant. This is kind of cool, though. They actually fucking filed a warrant. They went after him. The studio maintained that in tricking his way into Gray's account, Lenny had cost over $1 million. What? That's bullshit, ArenaNet. $1 million? Are you fucking ludicrous? I don't know whether I really believe this. Where's Massively OP coming from on this? They're citing him saying the million. Wasted 50 to 70 man-hours in support and legal efforts, done irreparable harm to Gray's character, and caused a negative effect on the reputation of ArenaNet and its brand. Thanks to worldwide reporting on the story. This last bit's probably true. Massively OP was able to translate and confirm the contents of the relevant warrant and indictment, but not the initial police complaint. The police were apparently looking for, paraphrasing the translation, chat history, emails, other digital traces, including mobile telecommunication facilities and electronic media. Then he says he got his equipment back 4 months later. ArenaNet had specifically accused him of, paraphrasing the translation here again, the unauthorized use of and breach of computers specifically secured against unauthorized access, and then having illegally deleted or altered data in doing so, which would theoretically be prosecuted under the German statute against spying on data in combination with data alteration. A criminal complaint of this nature in Germany compels the police and prosecutor to investigate, which they did. I got an amazing lawyer, and we got to see the files the prosecutor, as Lenny informed us. The ArenaNet lawyer from international law firm Taylor Wessing tried to access the files and updates on the case every 2 weeks or so. He said the case was so important for ArenaNet that he would travel through the whole of Germany and provide help if it would bring the case forward. It's in the court files, the police officer wrote down. We weren't able to independently verify this part of the court proceeding, specifically because Lenny says his lawyer deemed it off limits under German law. ArenaNet declined to comment. Okay. I'm sure they did. I wonder how many times they pressured them. The investigation apparently wore on for nearly 2 years before Lenny was actually summoned to court in early 2018. He was then 21. By this point, the prosecutor had changed 3 times, he said, and the law said that I had violated. The law they said I'd violated changed at least half a dozen times in the different combinations. They kept bending into another direction and weren't sure what I did wrong. Nothing I did seemed to be against the law. Stuff like computer sabotage, spying, changing the data. Though the authorities here in the US might have been able to hassle him to the ends of the earth under the absurdly broad Computer Fraud and Abuse Act. Germany is not the US. Yeah, I gotta say, the lawmaking and judiciary powers and enforcement in Germany seems super fucking premium to me. I've always been very impressed. Seem very, very, like, on the pulse. It doesn't surprise me that shit changes fast in Germany because they seem to be more up-to-date and more intelligent about a lot of their lawmaking, especially in the technical sphere, than anywhere else in the Western world. You guys have got it good, Germany. So it went to court, and there the lead prosecutor of my city shows up to meet my attorney and me and the judge that's hearing the case. I explained everything I just told you, and the judge asked, you basically went to Microsoft, said you're Bill Gates, and they took you into his office. I nodded. Everyone laughed. Then the prosecutor stepped in and said, he has to say before we go on, that he doesn't see any law I would have broken, and he doesn't see any reason to punish me either. My lawyer complained jokingly, saying that they're taking his job from him, and the whole case was dropped. They just dismissed it based on how ridiculous it was. The prosecutor said ArenaNet should have hired me to fix their system. Massively... By the way, side note, I'm pretty sure Chris Cleary himself was like one of those guys that would like, I don't know whether he did it to Guild Wars specifically, but like would hack games and like work outside the boundaries and was kind of hired on. You know, that happens a lot. This idea here, the prosecutor said they should have hired the person that infiltrated them. That's not uncommon, and I think ArenaNet has done stuff like that before. This guy sounds like a knob to me, though. I'm not surprised he wasn't hired. Massively OP has reviewed, like, what skill does he have? Massively OP has reviewed the court document that makes it clear the prosecutor and judge agreed to drop the complaint, though not precisely why. Lenny claims the prosecutor who laughed at the ArenaNet's damage claims says he saw neither punishability nor crime, where the judge was less confident about the criminal component. Ultimately, the court seems to have decided to drop the case rather than send it to a higher court, where it would likely have ended in acquittal. So what's the point here? Bad guy ArenaNet pushes a nonsense court, pushes something to a trial that was never going to go anywhere or do anything. I don't know. I feel like it's in the interest of ArenaNet. It's in the business of ArenaNet's interest to push things like this and to lay the hammer down, right? You don't just want to sit there, even if it's through your own ineptitude, right? I mean, I don't know about the whole money side of it, and whether it was worth it there, but, you know, I don't need to judge that. That's up to them. If they threw a bunch of money away on a folly errand, then they did that, you know. Lenny wasn't even assessed court costs, though he was awarded attorney's fees from... He was not awarded attorney fees from ArenaNet either, as this was not a civil suit. I'm a bit out of my depth on a lot of this, as you can probably tell. I was just glad it was over, he says. It's scary having a fucking company from the US after you for opening a support ticket. Yeah, that's what you did. You opened a support ticket. That's what you did. Yes, he knows he's been flipping here. Well done, Massively OP. That should have been the end of it, but... fucking hell. That should have been the end of it, but it's pretty clear that nobody involved here is any good at letting things go. Certainly not this article. When Guild Wars 2's Icebreed Saga released earlier in September and aimed a fresh spotlight on the franchise, Lenny decided he wanted to try to get one of his accounts back. And within a few minutes of poking around, he claimed he'd found a new potential way to get dev account. Like, look at this! Like, fuck off! Which he admitted to doing this in our interview. We literally facepalmed. Why would he ever poke the bear again? Why come back? Why are you doing an art? Why are you glorifying this man? If you want to play this game since you're a kid, you believe ArenaNet's the best company. Don't make me vomit, you fucking... I'm gonna be chill. You just want to believe they're the good guys. Let's reread this. If you play this game since you're a kid, you believe ArenaNet is the best company ever, he says. You just want to believe they're the good guys. You ignore all the red flags and think it's just 1 or 2 employees wanting to come after you. So I tried to get more dev accounts. I just had to know. I had to know that they're the good guys. Lenny says he fired off private messages to multiple ArenaNet staff, including Mo. I learned from my mistakes. I'll take it. It's satire. Someone wrote this in a comedy room, right? Someone wrote this in a this is a joke. I learned from my mistakes. I can't believe this line's in the article. I'll take it straight to the top this time. Equipped. After a bit of back and forth, O'Brien thanked Lenny for his report and said he agreed with his assessment that the exploit was too close for comfort. That's good news. We've since learned, however, that it wasn't a direct threat to either game. I was like, yeah, he seems nice, Lenny says, but the next day he'd been locked out of his new and old accounts. What a surprise. Oh no, I've been punished again? While in September, Mike O told Lenny that ArenaNet was still figuring out what happened and why and would talk to him soon. It now seems that likely barring another mass unban event or some future reversal, Lenny probably won't let me back into the game. Oh no, sorry Robin Hood, you've fallen into prison. I never hid my identity because I never thought I'm harming the company. This article was hid as identity, Lenny told us. I was trying to help, but they banned me anyway. I grew up with Guild... ready? I grew up with Guild Wars. That's why I have a lot of passion. I've played this game for more half of my life. I think I started when I was 8, or maybe 9, and I've always looked up to ArenaNet. Instead of banning the obvious botters who won the last 2 monthly automated tournaments, they spend their time looking into what accounts I play on. After Lenny spilled this whole story 2 weeks ago, we of course immediately reached out to ArenaNet and offered the studio carte blanche and time to dispute the details and clarify its position on every last accusation, along with a number of questions and concerns about the security we had. Maiko's departure from the studio in the middle of that inquiry period is entirely unrelated, but apparently stalled the process. While the studio ultimately declined to comment in full on the record, citing legal and privacy concerns, it was willing to issue this statement on security and resources available to players whose accounts are compromised by social engineers or hackers. If a player suspects their account has been accessed by an unauthorized user, they should contact customer support immediately. In those situations, we always aim to roll back accounts to their original status, including reversing any changes that may have been made without the player's knowledge. We highly encourage all players to enable two-factor authentication on their accounts in order to keep them secure. For more information on how to enable 2FA and tips on avoiding phishing scams, please visit helpguildwars2.com. I wonder if any of these accounts that he was getting into, because let's be very clear. Let me be very clear. It is absurd. It's fucking crazy that you can do it. And it is really bad. It is really, really bad. I wonder whether any of them had 2FA on. Lenny is now 22, and he should be moving on to the next stage of his life. Yeah, really? We asked him what his goal was in all of this. Why to go to all this... oh, this is so badly written. Why subject himself to endless questions and skepticisms? How many more words can I get into this article? Why come to us with a wild story of the time that an MMORPG studio pursued a teenager with a criminal complaint that in his own words seemed more concerned with brand image than the security of its players? And what does he hope to achieve by making public his claims, especially knowing the broad suspicion and doubt that will likely follow, as it so often does with such stories about hackers? I would say I would want an apology, but I wouldn't believe I would ever get a sincere one, so probably... public vindication, Linear. Is this it? Is this your vindication, Linny? Is this it? And I want them to hire competent people in the security department. And I want this too. I mean, I'm a bit incensed. I get it. And I want them to never be able to sue another player again. What are you talking about? It's just straight up evil and malicious to sue in all circumstances. We don't think he'll... we don't think he'll be getting his wishes. We must concede here that it's certainly possible that Linny has embellished or downplayed the soft edges of his story that just can't be verified or won't be challenged on the record. We can only do our best to verify his claims with the studio and with those social media and court systems that are accessible, to include only those elements we have reason to believe come closest to the truth and that the public needs to know about, particularly in regard to the studio's security and hack itself, as we covered it back in 2016. So given that we can't prove Linny's motivations are absolutely pure, indeed, he admitted he has a grudge and feels he's in the right for having it, we're expecting debate over whether he was truly a grey hat hacking to improve security or indulge curiosity, or just a black hat hacking with malice. There's no debate. This is not the story you think it is. But at the end of this, the bones of his story held up under scrutiny. Lenny did socially engineer his way into multiple Guild Wars accounts. This is a good conclusory paragraph here. Taking advantage of weak support and security back in 2006, he did report it rather than profit from it. Well, all these concessions in mind. He did commandeer Gale Gray's account and run around with it very publicly, and then ArenaNet did press criminal charges, which were dismissed in the German courts, and then he came back. Ultimately, nobody can ever really know what was inside Linny's head, nor do we think that players will ever get a complete explanation from ArenaNet about the true nature of its security way back then, in the halcyon days of 2 and a bit years ago. But it's a cautionary tale for everyone involved. For would-be grey hat hackers who want to help and still stay out of trouble with the law, for studios that put little too much faith in the competence of their support personnel and security protocols, and for players too, for the sake of the 6, enable two-factor authentication. Look, this is good. Pointing out that you are a Guild Wars nerd, and yeah, this is important. Yeah, it's scary. All right, you know, there's a lot of waffle there, but it is a scary... this could have been just a couple of paragraphs, but that's fucking crazy, actually. I vaguely remember when the event happened, hearing something along these lines. I mean, if the whole idea of doing this to Gale's account was to get everyone to realize this security flaw, it's kind of the worst thing to realize is that I forgot. I forgot this specific message, this specific circumstance, this specific purpose behind it all. I can even remember that side. You know, literally before we read this article, I gave you my full recap of my recollection of the events as they happened. So yeah, all right, wow, that was a good link. Thanks, man. That was very fun. Let's turn that off now. All right, I haven't been able to look at chat during any of that. What do we think, guys? If you left any comments you want me to read, or you feel I've been unfair or whatever, let me have them know. Didn't they delete the frog? I think probably, yeah, deleted the frog. But then they... I seem to remember they did a rollback. I think they did a rollback, right? We can do the bar event here. This article was better than most movies I've watched recently. I mean, it was entertaining. I'll give them that. I'll give them that. The decent thing of me to do is to link it as well, because, you know, they exist for clicks and for you to check their links and stuff. So here, guys, click the link. Give them the view that they deserve, because I've just bypassed their viewership in a way. Give them the view. Go on. Look, whether you agree with them or disagree, there's content there and you just enjoyed it. Just give them a click. That's all they want.
Of course you do.
Be decent. All right. What do you want?
I want something that burns.
Okay, he wants grog.
Bring me the special.
This one's so much harder to me. All right. Grog? Enjoy yourself.
I want something that burns. Bring me the special.
God, I like these crazy bitches that like the burning special.
Bring me the special.
That guy wants a special as well. He's from the Flame Legion. Makes sense. If it burns. Okay. You're just waiting to see when the next open world build is? Sometime this week. That guy wants grog. Don't support massively OP their hacks, says Thornstein. Well, I kind of have by reading their article. You can think of them as hacks, but on an article by article basis, they, you know, that was valid to look at and read, and that's their primary agenda, you know. So they did their job there. What is it you don't like about them, by the way? I've not got no grudge against any particular website. Why didn't you like massively OP? What's hackish about them?
Know who'd make a great conqueror? Me. But it didn't mean commanding those sneaky ash bastards too. Don't need that stress in my life.
Right. Probably best to leave the headache to Bangar. He's ornery enough to enjoy it.
Hey, wanna play a game?
Wait, Ruby used to work at Massively? I did not know that. Is that for real? Well, what changed when she left then? What do you mean? Think NCSoft will allow free Hong Kong posts? I have no idea how NCSoft feels about Hong Kong. NCSoft are Korean though, right? And Korea is kind of, well, I don't know how. I don't mean to generalize, but don't they have a bit of history? Isn't Korea and China a bit like UK and the French? You know, like history. There's been a lot of warfare, a lot of bloodshed, a lot of bigotry, a lot of bias, right? Isn't that true? Kind of like, well, I should say England and the French. I should say the UK and the French. Sorry, I should just say England and the English and the French. I don't know what changed. I stopped visiting when she left. Well, what you got a problem with then? You shouldn't just have a problem with them just because they lost one writer. What's this? The laws for digital stuff in Germany aren't as good as you might think they are. Well, I mean, there are some weird things. Doesn't German just? I don't know whether this has changed. I hope it has. But last I saw, you don't get Google Maps, do you? My German fans out there, German friends in chat, you don't get Google Maps, right? Because of privacy laws. That seems a bit like OTT and a bit weird. But that was definitely a thing, right? Street View, sorry. Is it Street View? I think it's Street View you don't get. South Koreans generally dislike Chinese people, says Menzies. Well, I mean, I didn't really want to put it that way. But if that's true, then I don't know. I'm sure they're all for what's going on with Hong Kong, right? Another Devaroness. So anyway, I missed the ooze pit, which means we got to do the racer at some point. The racing is the next one we got to do, which I guess we can do at the same time as the Metal Legion concert.
As an outside party without vice,
I need to turn off this dialogue. It's really throwing me off. We do have it, but you can you have to have your house blurred out. Interesting. So, what's that all about? You guys don't like your homes being surveilled? It's their agenda. I don't care about inclusion in games as long as it plays well or makes sense. Tomb Raider was a great game. Battlefield changing history to include women is stupid. What do you mean? You gotta talk specifically, man. You can't just... What do you mean? Oh, I don't like them because their agenda. And then you gave me one word, inclusion. That's not substantive enough, man. You've got to go further. You've got to use full sentences and use examples. That is not enough to say, oh, that website's shit. What are you talking about? WP keeps reading whatever I write today. I feel special now. Well, now I hope you feel even more special. Oh, I turned off UI volume, not dialogue. Oh, I'm an idiot. Thank you, Shatter. You've saved the day. I probably then would have been listening to them talking and being like, oh, why is that going on? It could have prompted me into some horrible rant. It was too much work to do it for Google, so they skipped most of Germany with Street View. Oh. I need /cheer for the Metal Legion, which is only in the early part of the concert. So I should go there now. It spawns in just a few minutes. So let's go over. So does anyone have a different take on that article there? I mean, it's not prompting as much discussion as I think that they wanted it to. I mean, I've got a pretty firm stance. Anyone want to push against it? Convince me otherwise? WP, they added a disabled female soldier into the game. Something even men wouldn't be allowed to do if they had prosthesis. And they literally changed actual historic events, erasing the actual women who fought in specific events and reduced them to 2 fictional women. Okay, yeah, I'm not talking about the game. I'm talking about the website. I'm talking about massively OP. So they had a different... So what? They liked that. They appreciated that. They had a slightly different take on one thing in one game. And that means that they've got some massive bias and agenda that that mean... What did you call them? You called them hacks. You called them hacks because they have a different opinion on something. And for what it's worth, I'm pretty much in your camp with what you're talking about there. That seems weird. Mind you, I don't actually value authenticity that highly. I value entertainment higher than authenticity. But, you know, I get it if you're mad about that. But, again, I don't see how that's... I'm pro-establishment and lawful evil. That random hacker was a hero, probably. Dude, I was watching a Star Trek Deep Space Nine clip earlier. We keep talking about Star Trek here. What the hell is that? There's something weird. I'm getting a weird association with this area in Star Trek. But basically, it was the Cardassian, who is like the perfect lawful evil. He's basically this this man who loves his country and is like a... What was he? It was like a clerk or some shit. While they were occupying a planet and committing genocide against another race, this race called the Bajorans. And he's just this horrible man, but he's just trying to point out how he was just doing his job. And he was just trying to protect the Empire, that they needed resources, and it was just all pragmatism, and it was very, very, very cool. And there's like a line in there where they're like, you butchered blah, 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 countless people. The Butcher of Galatep, you killed all these people. And he said... For you, that was like the Butcher of Galatep. For me, it was like a Tuesday. It's a line like that. It's very cool. It's a very cool moment. It's like, oh, what an abominable man. And there's no remorse. Yeah, I saw the new Picard trailer. Literally, look, you should just go to yesterday's stream or the day before. Because it's me standing here talking about the Picard trailer. Like, let's not do a complete loop. Let's not do real-world nostalgia here. Is that the line from Street Fighter? Well, it's a line like that line from Street Fighter. It's a line like that. I can't remember what is it. Fuck. But yeah, the Street Fighter line's good as well. For you, the day M. Bison graced your village was the most important day of your life. For me, it was a Tuesday. Is that the line? Is that the Street Fighter line? When's Picard launching? I don't know, actually. I don't know. I've seen all the trailers. I don't actually know when it's coming out, though. I noticed as well, by the way, you know how Jeff Bezos bought The Expanse because he was a fan of it? And he was just like, fuck it, all right, I'll fund it. And there was that huge thing about it. And now Amazon owns it. They did a trailer for it. And it looks so high quality now. The CGI, everything, the budget has clearly gone through the roof. It's exploded. That show, it was a good show already. But it's very, you can really tell there's an enormous quality bump now. It's insane in the next season. But what I find quite curious about is no one's talking about it really. And the trailer for that show has got pretty mediocre viewership. I think when it comes to that show, people were more interested in rallying to stop it being cancelled than they were in actually watching it. I feel like for a lot of people, they're just more interested in like rallying for a cause or fighting for something or, you know, being angry and passionate about stuff than they are actually engaging with the media or whatever the topic is at hand. And I think that Expanse thing is a great example of that. Because it's not like this has not created the waves that the cancellation had. But it's a beautiful trailer. It looks really good. And I kind of love that it's not creating those waves because it's kind of like sci-fi, you know, with their cold facts and, you know, dead hearts dropping the show would have known. They're like, look, it's just not that good of a show. It's not earning the money. The views aren't there. Oh, there's views now that there's a controversy because we cancelled it. But if we hadn't cancelled it, that wouldn't have been there and the show still would have been in the hole. And now, even though there was the controversy and everyone knows about the thing, and it got bought by a different company, and they're putting it out, well, look, the views aren't there. I kind of like that. I like the vindication of sci-fi. Even though, you know, sci-fi kind of suck with all the shit they cancel. Am I excited about El Camino? I'm cautiously optimistic about El Camino. I hope Aaron Paul gets something good out of it, because I do like him a lot. Do you know that guy's 40? That guy's 40. To me, he's like my age. He's like a young guy, you know. It's very weird to realize he was actually quite old when they were shooting the earlier seasons of Breaking Bad, and even those are getting kind of old now. He was kind of an older guy playing someone very young. I missed the Grand Prix race. 3 people already finished. Ah, that's a shame. Well, the other one I've got a vague eye on. I'm going to do this one over here. What do I think of Stargate? Stargate I've not watched, but it's been one of those things I'm like, I should watch. Perfect World. If I had a routine where I was watching some sci-fi every day, I would finish Star Trek the original series, then I would watch Enterprise, then I would watch Discovery, then I would watch the Orville, and then I would start watching Stargate. Perfect World, I would do all of that. But at one episode of a show a day, it would take me a couple of years to get through all of that shit. Especially Stargate's pretty big, right? Which is 3 different shows. Obviously, you get the movie, and I'd want to watch all the movies as well. How can you fit in time to have a life? Well, you have to pace yourself with it. You would have to pace yourself. Realistically, if you could find a way to get 3 shows in a day, it would be pretty good. Maybe wake up and watch a show and then end the day with 2 episodes. If you did that and you got 3 episodes in a day, every day, if you found a balance for that, you could probably be a real connoisseur of television. If you did that for years and years and years, just 3 episodes a day. You know, I'm talking like 40-minute kind of shows. All right, here we go. The audience hype. Why is it already at 25? Maybe I should just keep spamming /cheer. Have you ever wondered why they haven't put Guild Wars on consoles? I think it's very good for the console market. Is Guild Wars is a polished, semi-casual MMO? I don't think it's necessarily... I mean, it's more about control schemes than anything else, okay? And, like, Guild Wars definitely has, like, the UX. It's got, like, the polish, you're right. It's got, like, the clean screen and shit. And you could definitely make this console appropriate. Like, there's not actually... It's designed that there's not actually that much information that needs to be right there on the screen, right? And it's very clean. It's very, very clean, especially compared to most MMOs. So I think it's deceptively good for console. I wouldn't be surprised if one of these projects ArenaNet's been doing over the past 8 years that's ended up nothing has been thinking about consoles. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised because I bet they started talking about it and looking at it at the same time as they were trying to get the Chinese markets, right? Maybe it was such a failure and such a waste of time and such an pointless exercise doing the whole thing with China that it kind of left them a bit cold to the idea of a console port as well, and they just wanted to focus on the product itself, something like that. I don't know. But I'm sure that they've looked at it at some point. The thing I think that they've been struggling with, or would be struggling with if they were trying to get this on console, is controls. I actually think there's a fuck ton of binds you need in Guild Wars that makes it kind of hard for console. Now, someone's going to be like, oh, but I made an X-Padded thing, WP. I got it sorted out. I don't... Yeah, all right, you can make an X-Padded thing. You can build your own control scheme set up with like 6 different fucking modifier and shift keys going on all at once that you know detailed and so on. But they are very far from pick up and play, all right? And they got a lot of problems. They do. And it's just true that Guild Wars has a lot of stuff going on, all right? Because it's 5 skills. Sorry, it's 10 skills at least. Up to 15 with these, all right? Plus a 16th for special actions where they come up. Plus a 17th now for weapon swap. Plus an 18th for dodge roll. And a 19th button for dodging. So there's like 19 actions you've got to just figure out just instantly. So you can say, all right, weapon skills, everything skill-wise, maybe you can use X modifier and then B modifier and then C. There's ways to do it, okay? Listen to me. There's ways to do it. But are they very clean? Are they very easy when you have like a bedrock of 19 things to set up? And then when you get into POF, you've got like a mount button you want to look at. Do they create... like, you can not have a mount button. You can kind of not do that, I suppose. You can not have a novelty button. You can choose to not have a lot of these other things. You can not have walking. You can not have emotes. You can not have typing or whatever. Or, you know, you can sort of typing out how other console MMOs do that. Which I'm not actually sure. How do a lot of them do it? But, there's just a lot. The bedrock of things in Guild Wars is very... And the thing is as well, it's very fast as well. It's not a game where you actually do... I mean, you can auto. But if you want to play it at a certain level, and if you want to take it into certain kinds of content, it's not just spamming A. You know, it's 25 skills, and I'm actually using all of them a lot of the time. If you're on a controller, you don't need to walk by, and that's true. You can, like, just tilt the stick a little bit. That's true. They make a wheel control, like your mount selector. Yeah, like you could have a wheel for emotes and a wheel for mounts. And a wheel for wheels. You could do that. I'm not actually joking. And then squad markers could be on one of those wheels. And novelties can be on one of those wheels. And mount. You could do that. So you go a wheel. You select. And it's popped another wheel. And then you select. You know, you can do shit like that. But, you know, it's just... Not only do you need to find the binds out properly, you got to then have them in such a way that people are really comfortable sinking into the game and experiencing it. Another game I follow that did a console port recently is Stellaris. And their version on consoles is like totally different because it's like an earlier patch from the game. So it's like pre-Le Guin. So you're doing like the old planet system and the old stuff. And I don't know whether they'd ever do the new setup. The add-on is Guild Wars 2 Radio. You can check it out on YouTube. I've got a guide all about it. Wait, which has chat boxes? Oh, fuck. Am I missing cheer? When was I meant to cheer? Have I missed it? Because I'm ranting about console ports. I missed it. Kato's whispered me saying cheer, and I missed it. Fuck, we'll do it another time. So is the race up right now? Oh, who said that the races were going on while these are? There's totally not. That's not what's going on. We've got to beat up more people in the crowd, by the way, so let's just stick with that instead of the other things, the other objectives. How many times a stream do I answer that question? A lot. And I ignore most of them and just hope that chat responds. I mean, it was the specific topic of conversation there. So. I like it though, because the dev that made it, right? The dev made that tool, and then like went missing in action for like a year. And I whispered them when the novel. I went to Reddit and I messaged the dev and I said, when novelties came in, I said, dude, novelties are coming in, and it would be really good to have a novelty wheel. And he responded saying, oh hey, wow, WP, how's it going? I can't believe you're using this. And I said, yeah. And he said, wow, that blows my mind. I said, yeah, I use it, and people ask me about it all the time. I don't think he realized that people like the tool as much as they do, or people use the tool as much as they do. I think he thought he'd created this little fringe thing. But because I use it all the time, I like throw a fuck ton of traffic on this thing. And so, yeah, he, you know, and he gets, I'm surprised he had that perspective, because he gets popular enough Reddit threads without me helping out or anything, you know. He doesn't update. Lots of people upvote it. Lots of people talk to him. Lots of people help him debug stuff. I think his perspective's probably changed now, but before the novelty thing, yeah, I don't think, like, he wasn't really deving on it anymore. What if consoles had area voice? Yeah, I mean, that's another thing you could do, yeah, definitely. It'd probably be a good idea. But, like, it's just all boring shit, really. I would hate to be on a team that's just trying to port this game to console. I think it'd be, you know, it's not exciting dev work, really, is it? You're not really crafting anything. You're not really forging forwards when you're doing that kind of work. Novelties, etc. sounds good, but for mounts it's one extraction, so you can't use it. Well, I mean, in the context of console, I think you'd have to. What are you going to do? Have all of these mounts on a dedicated button on your controller? What else the fuck are you going to do? You're going to play Mount Wars 2 if you do that. And then when they add just a couple more, you've ran out of buttons just to do mounts. Can you actually get anything from the new map? No, there's nothing in the map. It's like there's nothing. It's like literally empty. This is all a mirage. What I'm doing right now is I'm sitting in a white room with nothing in all directions. I know someone who plays on controller and they make it work, but there's a lot of things that they need to use mouse and keyboard for. Yeah, that's another thing as well, because I used to play Guild Wars 1 on controller, which was much more portable to it. There was way less going on there. And even you know, I'd play on controller, but you can bet your fucking ass that I would have the mouse and keyboard still plugged into the PC and within reasonable access, you know. Maybe I'm off on the side sitting on the couch or I'm laying back in bed, but I know that the PC's there and I don't want to go too far from it, because every now and then I do want to do something mouse driven. You got to think about all this other stuff as well. So when you go to console, you've got to like do all this arbitrary shit where when you open this, you see when it scrolls down like this, it needs to like be mapped to WASD. There's nothing mapped. If I WASD right now in Guild Wars, it won't move this box. It won't. In some games, that's already like a thing, even for on PC. You know, if I WASD or use the arrow keys, you might expect it. But that's not there in Guild Wars. They cut a lot of corners, you know. So you have to do that. And same with like the inventory. There isn't even a sense of like highlighting in the inventory, like, you know. So there's just a lot of little things on the UI that you've got to manufacture. And then there's the question of like future developments, always having to consider console and how rapidly do you get the console patches out versus, you know, is the fact that now you have to stream it out to consoles as well as people's PC and you've got to go through all their shit. Is that going to slow down your Living World episodes or truncate the process in any way? If it is, does that now mean you've got to have two separate teams that have mind of different seasons at different times? There's a lot of stuff going forward into the future that I think just sort of makes me shudder a bit, and might be why we've never seen the devs do it, but I'm sure they would have looked into it. When you did X-Paddle, you mapped a control stick to mouse movement, so you didn't need one. Yeah, I know that you can do that. I can't remember whether I did it. I'm certainly familiar with the idea of having a controller to move a mouse though, and it's just too clunky sometimes. It's just like, fuck's sake, I don't want to mess about with this for 20 minutes. I just want to quickly go do it, so run over to the PC. And when you're in that environment where you are like expecting to run over to the PC and you're like doing your own maintenance and you're happy to do your own maintenance, you can't get away from that if you're ArenaNet. You can't. People won't tolerate the mindset of them doing their own maintenance. It's the same with Ark, you know? Like, because Ark is a third-party thing made by the community, when something goes wrong with Ark, or it's a bit fiddly with a patch or whatever, you got to uninstall, reinstall. People already have a happy mindset to do their own maintenance. But if it happens with some native solution from ArenaNet, people would go berserk if they have to do their own maintenance. They'll be angry about it, very angry about it. It's the same with like not just Ark, but Guild Wars 2 Hook and all that kind of stuff as well. It's one of the reasons why I think that in-game templates are inherently better. Because ArenaNet has to be held to a higher standard. So you will get a higher standard. Like, fit for purpose, when you're in the community, making a community thing, is a much lower bar than when you're a developer, making a first-party solution to a thing. Fit for purpose now means something very different. Is Reshade still around? Yeah, but I recommend you use Guild Wars 2 Hook, which allows you to mess with fog settings and stuff in-game and change view distance. Again, I have videos on that. Ale says FFX, FF14 is on console, Elder Scrolls is, BDO is, MMOs being PC-centric is much less true than it was in the past. It's very true, and I'm sure ArenaNet looked at that. I'm sure they did. I'm sure they did. They might even still be, currently. Man, I can't believe this is the most popular event. This is a long fucking event. My purpose is to run 26 miles a day. I don't think I'll ever be in that place, I'm afraid to say. As I grow older, I realise my boundaries. I think that's one of them. I don't think I'll ever be the guy running 26 miles a day. Cheer now. No. I think it was 10 minutes ago we had to do it. Elder Scrolls and FF were console games originally, so it was easy to keep them and adapt them to PC. Yeah, there's a big difference there. I really could probably look at how successful the console branches of those games are too, you know. And no. Yeah, I missed it ages ago. I missed it ages ago. Anyway, I'm going to go stand over at this race now. And I'm going to de-tag as well, because I don't want people following me. Because I don't want competition. I've got to get first to third. Here it is. Look at this. Beautiful. Race begins in 1 minute 30. But that guy's got a pretty nice golden dragon right there. Dude, and he's in an exalted tonic as well. Oh, he's on the exosuit. Alright. As long as nobody else arrives, we're all good. I still have the best mount though. You cannot beat the hummingbird. Now it's been about a month or so, how do you guys feel about this event so great? Don't tell me it's been a month, man. That means that I haven't done an open world build in about a month. How has it died awfully? Commie gave me the dice for this, I think. Yeah, it's good, isn't it? The hummingbird skimmer. Hey WP, I just watched a Boots video on a DD Interrupt Thief built around Pulmonary Impact. I liked the playstyle and was wondering if it was viable in the current Guild Wars 2 balance. Thanks for the stream. I don't know what format of the game you're playing. Is it viable in PvE and story missions and open world? Absolutely, because pretty much anything is. Is it viable in low tier fractals? Absolutely. It's not particularly viable in high tier fractals. You're going to drag your team down. I mean, you can let other people carry you, but does that mean it's viable? Same with raids. You can let other people carry you, but does that mean it's viable? For PvP, it's probably viable all the way through bronze, silver, and gold, but no higher. You're not going to do very well after that. I don't think you're going to do well in platinum on that. We're going to miss this. There's too many people here. I need to get first, second, or third, and I was a little bit slow on the uptake. Thank you very much for the items with that, though. So there you go. That's the answer to the Boots Bad build. Nearly every single Boots Bad build that has ever existed, by the way, is exactly what I just said. If you're wondering about the viability of any of them, my answer just there is the answer for pretty much every single Boots Bad build. So they're viable in like 85% of the game. kind of hate the way that communities use the word viable, because viable actually means. Oh look, this guy's got a hummingbird too, and he's up my arse. Get away! There we go. We got the pole position. Wait. Oh, we're gonna do it so many times. All right, that's good though. So close, he says. Yeah, I'll beat you. You would love to hear a relationship advice from me? Well, what kind of a relationship advice? I can do it again, can't I? But there's already been the top 3 have been filled, so it doesn't really matter. Alright. That's pretty good. Well, there you go, guys. That's about the 2-hour limit. So that's it. That's Guild Wars 2 Master for today. We didn't quite get all of them because we missed the Ooze Pit. And Grothmar is in a bit, but I'll leave it there. Kind of want to go wash, sort some stuff out. That's the stream for today. Thanks very much. Thanks for the link to the article. Thanks for all the lovely chat, guys. It's been really nice. I hope to be back on YouTube with stuff for you very soon. I am sorry about this open world build thing. Kind of hard to juggle my enthusiasm for the World of Warcraft review with this, with some other stuff that I'm doing at the same time. So, yeah, hang in there. Thank you, everybody. I hope you had fun. Thanks for that lovely mail a second ago with the little handout. Hopefully you guys learned a thing or two. And I'll be back tomorrow. Same time every day. So if you were here today, then you can be here tomorrow. Also, again, I'm thinking of doing the monthly automated tournament. So if you want to practice, if you want to play with me, we're going to be practicing. That will be starting tomorrow. You need to send me a message on Discord if you want in on that. And you're going to commit to playing and practicing every day after the stream. So it'd be right about now. You'd log into Guild Wars and we would play and practice for 1 to 3 hours. And then we'll pick the best of the best and we'll go through. We'll have like an A team, a B team. We'll see how it goes. You get a shit ton of stuff from the monthlies, guys. Just remember, hundreds of gold, unique legendary items that no one else gets. There's special armor you get. There's crazy stuff. Mystic coins out the ass. And believe me, you can easily get like 32nd place. I doubt there'll even be 32 teams. So. All right, anyway, yeah. So if you guys want to do that, make sure you send those messages. I'll be back tomorrow. Catch you next time. Oh, Dog's in chat. Hey, Dog. I had a dream where you came to I came to the stream and asked you whether you finished within it. I don't even know what that is. What do you think of the dream means? Have you finished within it? It makes me think. Wasn't there a game called Inside? Didn't I play a game called Inside? Was that one of those indie games I played with Matt maybe one day? Within it. I like that, though. That's kind of obscure and strange, Dog. I like it a lot. All right, there you go. Hello, hello, hello. All right, there you go. I thought I'd give you that special little hello there. Sorry that I'm going off right when you get here. Anyway, yeah, same time tomorrow, guys. Catch you later.